WrestleMania over this topic because The Athletic has chosen the best players ever to wear every NBA number from 00 all the way up to 99. And guess who was chosen to represent number 23? Not LeBron James. And for that matter, LeBron wasn't even chosen to be the best player ever to wear number 6. That, of course, went to Bill Russell, the great Bill Russell. So, Shannon Sharp, or should I call you La Shannon Sharp? How big a problem do you have of Michael Jordan being chosen over LeBron James to represent the number 23?
I don't care nothing about no number. We know what time it is. One guy's about to have 13 first-team All-NBA. The other guy had 10. Nobody has had, we have not seen a player enjoy this level of greatness for this extended period of time in NBA history. And I was watching a game because last night it was on another network, games 5 and 6, game 5 and 7. I was like, he did that. Skip, did you know he's the only player in finals history to lead everyone in every statistical category, points, rebound, assists, steals, and blocks? Skip, that's never been done. Game 7, a triple-dub. Most triple-dubs in final history. Skip, stop this. Yeah, okay, fine. We get numbers. What it seems to me, whoever had the number first got the credit. So, okay, yeah, he had the number first, so what? It's no big deal. We ain't crying about all that. But you know what time it is, Skip. You keep hanging, but he's 6-0 with 6 this and the walk-off. I get all that. But that ain't changing my view. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player to ever dribble a basketball and play in the 70-plus year history of the NBA. That's facts.
That is phony facts because, yeah, I know what time it is. It's about 11 o'clock Eastern time, and Michael Jordan is still and always will be the GOAT. And you are having a terrible week, and you will not give it up, even though you should, because you're sounding more and more delusional, because this week, Michael Jeffrey Jordan was even voted in an ESPN fan poll the greatest college player ever. And now on top of that, The Athletic says, well, undoubtedly, the player who should represent number 23 in NBA history is Michael Jordan. Obviously the original 23, but he's the GOAT. And you've got to give this up because in the end, Shannon, it's laughable for you to even try to make this case. It's laughable for LeBron. In fact, I saw a clip on ESPN this morning of LeBron talking about, what was it on, More Than an Athlete, that he was doing with Maverick Carter. And he was saying, oh, the night that we came back from 3-1 down in won Game 7, that's when it hit me. This makes me the greatest player ever. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? Makes you the greatest player ever? I mean, okay, the reason he's got all those numbers is he's played forever. What's he up to, like 22 years now? And he played in 8 straight finals because he was able to dominate the Eastern Conference. So he played in the finals. He poured numbers into the stat sheets of the finals. He stuffed the stat sheets of finals because he got to play in so many of them. But he's 3-6 in those finals. He did a reverse Tom Brady. Tom's 6-3 in Super Bowls. He's 3-6. And he's lucky because Ray Allen saved his legacy with the greatest clutch shot I've ever seen, or they would have lost that one to my Spurs. And what LeBron should be known more for are his epic failures, his meltdowns. In Boston, that last series, his first go-round in Cleveland, when the owner, Dan Snyder, even accused him of quitting against the Celtics as he just folded in games 4, 5, and 6. And then his first go-round with the Heat, first finals with the Heat. That was the all-time superstar meltdown I have ever seen. And then in 2013, Game 6, he had an epic meltdown in the last 3 minutes of that game and missed, or LeBricked, I should say, the tying 3, and Ray Allen canceled it and saved him with the clutchest shot I've ever seen. And then 2014, he had an epic failure in games 3 and 4 in Miami as they blew that series to my Spurs. It was 1-1 going home to Miami. And then 2014, go look, it's just one after the other. That was when they got blown off the floor by a record margin by my Spurs. And then how about that game 1 at Oracle a couple of years ago when he just melted down after overtime and quit on his team? I don't know. Jordan didn't ever have one of those, and that's all I can remember from LeBron James.
Can I ask you a question? When Jordan couldn't get out the first round, what number was he wearing? He had to be wearing another number, right? Because, see, what you do is that you hold final losses against LeBron, but you never hold Michael Jordan not getting out of the first round. Now, you keep saying that he went up against historical great Big Three Celtics. Was the Warriors in 17 and 18, were they not historically great? So so you mean to tell me Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Kawhi, 4 Hall of Famers, he couldn't beat them, so he's terrible. He loses when they got Rondo, they got Kevin Garnett, they got Ray Allen, they got Paul Pierce. He couldn't beat them, so he's a failure. Michael Jordan couldn't beat the Big Three Celtics. He couldn't for the longest until they started dismantling. See, people are like, well, they went over the hill. When you keep going, making these deep playoff runs like the Pistons did year after year, eventually, yeah, you're going to track them down. That's what happened to Golden State. 5 straight finals. And the wheels came off, literally and figuratively, because Klay Thompson blew out his knee, KD tore his Achilles, and we all know what happened. Toronto won the series. Skip, 8 straight finals. He did that. 8 straight. But you don't hold first-round bowouts, losing in the conference finals against Michael Jordan, like you hold finals losses against LeBron. Why?
Okay, let's just do this then. Let's go back to the shot heard round the world against Orlando in his first go-round in Cleveland, and they go up 2 games to 1, and everybody's telling me, boy, you're going to have to eat crow on this one. No, I don't think I'm going to have to eat crow. And what happened in games 4,
They didn't go up
5,
2-1,
and
Skip.
6?
They didn't go up 2. No, Skip. They didn't go up 2-1. They were already down 0-1 because Orlando had beaten them game 1. That was the game 2 shot. No. Orlando beat them twice in Orlando. He came back, won in Cleveland, and then they beat them again in Orlando. They lost 4-2. They weren't up no 2-1 against Orlando.
Okay, but after he hit the shot heard round the world, they still lost in 6 games. They didn't even get it to game 7.
Okay.
He's the GOAT. He's on his, okay, don't give me that. That's a failure. That's an epic fail on LeBron's part because it was just a collection of shooters around Dwight Howard. You're better than those guys. You're still the best player on the court, and you lose in 6 games after you hit the shot heard round the world. And then against the Celtics next year, if you're that guy, come on, you got to be, you can't just quit, as Dan Gilbert said. And then I had to hear the story from the inner circle. Oh, LeBron had to be sedated in games 4, 5, and 6 against Boston. Stop it. And then, of course, he takes his talent to South Beach, and he joins forces with Dwayne and Chris Bosh. He wasn't by himself. And in the finals, he won against the Baby Thunder. Did he not get huge help from Shane Battier hitting threes and Mario Chalmers going crazy? And then Mike Miller hitting 7 threes in that closeout game 5 in Miami? I mean, come on. What are we talking about here?
You see?
He needed a lot of help. Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. Okay, so what?
So what? A top 50 player. So what? Dennis Rodman, a top 50
Michael
player.
Made him
so
a top
what?
50.
Really? No, he didn't. Skip. Hold on. That man was a made man before he set foot. He had 2 championships and 2 defensive players of the year, and he led the league in rebounding for 6 or 7 straight years. He was a made man before he even saw Michael Jordan. He used to put paint on Michael Jordan's head. But you see what you did? If LeBron is the guy, he's got to beat the Celtics. Well, if Jordan is the guy, he's got to beat the Big Three Celtics. Why not? Why do you hold? I'm just trying to figure out why do people hold a LeBron to a higher standard than they hold Michael? If Michael is the GOAT, beat the Big Three Celtics. Beat the bad boy Pistons before they start dismantling them, before they got old. They were the bad boy Pistons in the 80s. What happened in the 80s, Skip?
Yeah, but wait a second. Once he broke through, Shannon, he went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. Not only did he win a college championship with a last-second shot, he won his final championship in Chicago in a game I covered in Salt Lake City by holding the pose on his last-second shot that beat the Utah Jazz, Karl Malone and John Stockton, after he stole the ball from Malone in the corner. Well, what do you mean stop saying it? It's just a fact. You can't stand facts.
First of all, in Carolina, that was not a last-second shot. There was 15 seconds still on the clock. Because you will not, when LeBron hit shots like that, you won't give him that. Oh, there was still time, yada, yada, yada. Now he hits a shot, and if Freddie Brown does not throw the ball to James Worthy, who knows? But I'm not going to get into that, Skip. He did that, that's over. All I'm asking you is that why couldn't he beat the Big Three Celtics, and why couldn't he beat the bad boy Pistons in the 80s? He got in the league. Scottie Pippen, if I'm not mistaken, got there in 87. So 87, 88, 89, 90. Why couldn't he do it?
Because who was your favorite player when you were a kid, when you were in high school? Larry Joe Bird.
That don't matter. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, okay. It doesn't matter now. But it should have mattered then. No. Hey, Larry Bird was a bad boy. He was a bad boy. And he had Robert Parrish, and he had Kevin McHale, and he had Dennis Johnson, and he had Danny Ainge, and I could go on. That was an all-time great basketball team, and they referred to Michael Jordan as Jesus in sneakers. It took all of their collective greatness to overcome him. It took all of the collective greatness of the bad boy Pistons, and that team went about 10 deep. And they were bad boys, as their nickname indicates, because they played football, basketball. And Sam Smith of the Chicago Tribune ended up writing a book called The Jordan Rules, a bestseller, about how they had to come up with a complete set of rules. This is how all 5 of us have to contain that guy. And that's how they kept overcoming him barely. And they went on to the finals and won 2 of those 3 finals because they were an all-time great team. But once Michael broke through, 6-0, 6 MVPs. You can't argue with that. It's game over.
Well, how about this here? I'm going to get me a ghostwriter, and I'm going to write a book of how teams loaded up to beat GOAT James. Mainly the Warriors, mainly the Clippers, because we had never seen anything like this before. So, yeah, I'm going to get me a ghostwriter, and we're going to write a book how the NBA loaded up, teams loaded up to take down GOAT James. That's going to be my book. Since all you want to do is refer back to the Jordan rules. All I'm asking you, don't wave your hands. All I'm asking you is that if Michael Jordan, Skip, you do realize he was going to the playoffs sub 500, getting swept. He never got out of the first round.